And we are live. Hey, this is Ruben Dua from the Dubb podcast, Connection Loop. And today I have with me Steve Moreland. Steve and I go way back. We have been talking about solving some of the most interesting problems in sales and marketing. Things like how to get more quality leads, how to move your pipeline, how to get higher conversion rates, how to get more referrals, how to get overall deal sizes bigger, how to hit certain financial benchmarks, the 1 million, 5 million, 10 million mark. How do we hit those? So we're going to get into a really robust conversation here. Steve comes to us with a ton of experience and great wisdom. So Steve, if you could start, please, with a short bio, and let's get into this.
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's what's cool is that the reason why it's taken us so long to get to hang out together is because your technology works so damn well. And so as I was kind of sharing with you before, we've been chatting back and forth for, I don't know how long, I go back 30 years. I've been in the financial service industry, started in corporate, worked for a couple of Fortune 500 companies eons ago. So now it's no longer blonde hair, it's actually gray silver. So, come up as an entrepreneur, been a solopreneur since I was 12, 13 years old, just hustling, always been hustling, always loved helping people, always understood that idea that if you serve first and you just give people more than their expectation, then, there's just going to be an avalanche of business. And so what we were running into, and the reason why I actually came to this technology is we were just bottlenecked with, we were doing, some people refer to as high ticket sales. So we were with a publishing company, Success Publishing. I'm the director. I was working with my partner, Matt Morris, and he had already started the company years earlier, asked me to come on board and handle the business development. And so we were in the process of how do we handle all of these leads coming in. And we just had the bottle cap or the time cap that everybody's constantly dealing with in, as a solopreneur or even a small company. And we were looking for how do we get past the bottleneck is how do we talk to quality clients at quantity? And that just sounds like it's what do you call it? Is that a conundrum or just something that, is not in the physics of the universe, isn't supposed to be able to happen? And I just didn't give up on it. It was one of our associates, Bryson, that was on there with me. And he said, I've heard about this technology. And it was actually a competitor that he first led me to. And I didn't like their format. It just didn't look professional and quality. So I started hunting with this idea and I found Dubb. And when I saw it, I instantly knew this is the right company. So I started getting into the technology and I started creating it. First, it was just me, a kid in a candy store, not knowing what to do, bumping around. And I slowly started learning how to build and use the different assets, which were really a simplified format, but it just offered, you had to learn how to think about it, to think about how you could use it. And it built out the entire front end of our pipeline and the back end of our pipeline so that all of our calls, and we're talking about a $5,000 ticket item to become a published author. And we moved that from a 1 hour time frame down to 30 minutes so that I could screen and qualify. And everything else, we used Dubb for the front end. And then after the qualifying call, we used Dubb for the back end. So everything else was video content, preparation, everything. And so had we not had Dubb, we would have never crossed the $1 million marker, ever. It would not have done it.
Wow, that's a tremendous, tremendous journey. The problem that you're solving is an important problem, and it's a problem that a lot of people have suffered from. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, I mean from two perspectives. I mean from the perspective of I want to build an automated sales enablement, CRM, marketing automation platform that allows me to scale and grow. But the second thing is I want to become a published author. So there's these sort of two audiences, and a lot of the times they're actually one. It's this Venn diagram where they fit right in the middle, and
Sure.
We see that a lot, right? We see that that sort of alignment a lot. Take us through how you sort of initially envisioned your funnel to look on the whiteboard or in your mind, and then how did you go and execute that? If you could sort of visualize the flow, what would that look like? Explain that to us.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we had to deal with the actual interview itself. Okay. And since I go back to the 30 years ago when I was, first at a Tony Robbins event, and he was talking about the Pareto principle. I think that's the first time. It might have been Tom Hopkins or Brian Tracy, somewhere right in that 30 years ago, back in my 20s. And the concept was this, is that 80% of what you do produces 20% of your revenue, and vice versa. 20% of what you do produces 80% of your revenue. And you can break that down in other ways too. 20% of your activities produces 80% of your results, and vice versa. 80% of your activities only get 20% of your results. So you have that 80-20 pretty much in everything. So in our presentation, in our actual interview core itself, that was 1 hour of time, what I was looking at, which we started off with a script like all businesses do, and then we got to really more of a flow content where it was just really genuine, no script, but we knew what we needed to hit on so that the individual they were interviewing was either a go or no go. And what I looked at using the 80-20 principle is that 80% of what I was delivering over a live Zoom call was repeat content. Every single time it was pretty much the same, because you just get into that kind of habit. That's what we do as humans. And so that's where the idea first hit me, was what if I could be able to take a lot of that content and give it to our prospective potential client ahead of time, so that they, on their time clock, were able to move through that content at their leisure. And then when they got onto the call with me, we were only dealing with novel questions that were unique and specific, and I could really core down to what their fears were, what they were trying to overcome. So our content, our quality of our conversation in that 30-minute time frame was hugely valuable. And that's how we did it. So that was our first beginning use of how we use the Dubb technology.
That's tremendous. I love this idea of cloning ourselves. Okay, and I think that's one of the most beautiful thing that video allows us to do. Right. Because when we really dissect what we're doing, it's a fact, man. So much of it is the same content over and over and over again. So I always think, how can we create a manual effort, put something out into the universe, some imperfect action, some real-time feedback, and then come up with a process, come up with a consistent process, where we can then take some of our content, some of our process, create automations, and then go and put that into whatever it may be. It could be a video, it could be an automated workflow, it could be a drip sequence, any combination thereof. And then start to do exactly what you're talking about, which is just getting that novel, unique feedback. And then that becomes another balloon that grows, and then that becomes automatable. And then it becomes more data. And before you know it, it's that 80-20 rule of 80% of your business is now automated and 20% is actually just a manual effort. So that flow is the dream. So congratulations on that effort. I know it's an ongoing thing.
It is an ongoing thing. And, like everything, it's an evolution. And here's the thing too, is I prefaced when I was giving them the video content up front, I explained to them why I'm using the video, so that they understood that my intent was not just to give them everything from a video standpoint, but to make sure that they were so well prepared and that they understood a depth of what our conversation was really supposed to be about in the interview stage. They were excited about going through the video because they knew that this meant that I don't have to cover all of that and try to rush through it, that now I've got this 30-minute time that we can really get down to solving their problem that they're afraid of. That's what all business is about, is finding out what is that big, I call it the 800-pound gorilla, that's just beating you up. And I'm here to help you either take it out or find a solution to work around it. But even if what we deliver, it doesn't work for you, I'm going to bring my 30 plus years of being in business and maybe my network of connections, and I'm going to help you grow your business. And we're going to be better when we together finish this call together.
Tremendous. Now, you wrote the book on this. So one of your books is called Beyond Success with Steve Moreland. Take me through that process. I know you got a lot of press on that, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox. What was that process like? Tell us about that book.
Well, the cool thing about it, and this is really the company that I was director of business development for at Success Publishing with my best friend, Matt Morris. So we really came up with a concept together. Matt, of course, was the guy that actually got a book published about 12, 13 years ago. And his income did a 10x right after he got published. And he wrote a book called The Unemployed Millionaire. And it just skyrocketed. So he understood the idea that being able to connect to audiences that don't know you, that having the authority of being an author and being released on major news and media networks really were able to change the paradigm from the beginning. So that was the idea. He wanted to create a company, that Success Publishing, obviously, that allowed authors not to have to write a 60,000 page word book. 60,000 words is what it takes to do a 230 to 250 page book. And the reason why most people fail is that's a bridge too far. You're too busy right now, and writing that content, organizing, and the editing process is absolutely a nightmare. Okay, I don't care how good your editor is, it just takes so much time. That means it's costing you money away from your family, away from your business, away from your clients. And so the soft and the hard cost skyrocket 35 to 50,000 easy. Okay, so that's again a concept, a price tag that's too much for most business individuals that are trying to get themselves out there on podcasts, speaking platforms, radio, television. So what he did is he said, well, why don't we take this idea of an anthology where we take 30 authors, each author gets their own chapter, and then we put a thing called a carousel where each author gets their own book with their picture on the front, their name in the title, and this is their book and their chapter number one. All the other 29 authors fall in behind them. And then it carousels. Every author then rotates and gets their own book with their own ISBN number, and they own this, and they're on the front. And the other 29 authors are supporting them. So you get an anthology that's just an absolutely kick-ass idea. It brings the cost way down, and you only have to write 10,000 words, or excuse me, it's a significantly lower amount. So that takes you about 3 or 4 hours. So in doing that, we solved the problem that no one had figured out how to solve yet. And we brought the cost of time and the cost of production down to a fraction. And we've now had the privilege of being able to publish, me personally, over 270 authors. The company now is climbing over 300, 320 authors worldwide.
That is a tremendous idea. That's a tremendous story. That's a tremendous evolution. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I read one of the things in the table of contents. This kind of stuck for me, which is what makes some people more successful than the others. I know that that's not your chapter, but this is something I think about all the time.
Right.
And I think, in fact, what you're doing, which makes you more successful than more of your peers, is that you're thinking constantly about scale. Mm-hmm. You're thinking about building relationships, but then scaling. And sometimes people think that if you scale relationships, that you can't have as good relationships, i.e. the more friends you have, the less, tight those relationships are with those people. And I beg to differ, because the beauty of technology and the beauty of video now is that we can build that parasocial relationship where I'm reading Steve's chapter, I'm watching Steve's videos, and I'm getting to know Steve.
Yep.
But he's not spending his time on me. Absolutely. And I'm still building that relationship. So you sort of embody that.
Yeah.
And man, that's what we're always evangelizing. So awesome job.
Well, that is, I think, in a nutshell, what you just wrapped up is what we were able to do using the Dubb platform. Is if you explain to clients what your intent is, and the intent is, we want to solve your problem. So you show them you absolutely care from the beginning. So there's the framework. Now, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some great insight on video so that when we get together, you already know all this. I'm going to probably answer some questions ahead of time that are already bouncing around in your mind. Why? Because we've interviewed thousands and thousands of individuals to go to this interview. So I'm going to intercept a lot of those. And here's what I'm going to be able to do as well. Using the Dubb system, which is so cool, the assets, which are basically the click to action that you are able to build. You can use templates. But here's what this allows is it gives the individual, even though I'm personalizing this to them, whether it's a playlist that comes behind it, the template that frames it, or the call to action buttons, this allows each person to have a personal experience using the Dubb platform, because some people will want to click every one of those buttons and go through a PDF or extra playlist or content on our YouTube channel, connecting to us on Facebook or LinkedIn ahead of time because they want to check us out and see who we are. But other people may not want to be that. And this allows the individual, according to themselves, to kind of cafeteria style determine what is their level of due diligence they want to go through before we get to the interview. Wow. I mean, you could send that through email all day long, every day, and no one would use it. You put it through video, they use it all the time, and they use it according to their personality and their learning style.
Yeah. Okay. So massive light bulbs going off in my mind right now. But first I have to ask you a question.
Okay.
The person you could have been. Tell me about that. That's the name of your chapter in the first chapter in your book. What does that mean to you?
Hell is the person you could have been. Hell is meeting the person you could have been. So every day I get up, and all of us have to have a bigger why, a bigger purpose. And every day I push myself. I have this challenge coin that sits on my mouse pad here from a Navy SEAL, Mac Makowitz. Not dead, can't quit. And I wear this dog tag, same thing. Not dead, can't quit. Okay. This is how much I care about making a difference in the world. And I think about what is the actions that I don't do, pushing myself a little bit harder than I tired. I need to go another hour or two. Where do I find the focus? Where do I find the energy? Where do I find the desire to go the extra mile all the time? And the answer is, I don't want to meet that other version of myself at a point down the road and found out that that other version of me went harder, cared more, loved deeper, trained harder. And that extra little effort compounded over time. And that other version of me is sitting at a peak that this version didn't decide to get to. So I missed the summit. Not going to let it happen. That to me is the insight of that chapter. And I take it to a gravestone effect. There are 2 gravestones that my children in a future time will etch for their father. My son and my daughter will either write one gravestone that here lies an average man like everyone else, or they'll write the other gravestone that has one word on it, and it says worthy. And every day when I get up, I refuse to end that day with the first gravestone being the outcome. And I will do anything necessary to help other people reach their potential so that my children will see that standard from me and say, my dad's worthy.
We're talking about legacy. We're talking about living our best lives, living our purpose. We're talking about helping people, right?
100%.
These things and the ability to communicate these things is honestly one of the hardest things to do. It takes people decades, and unfortunately for a lot of people, they never find it. I know how long it took me to find it, and I'm still searching for it. I haven't fully found it, and I haven't fully realized it. But I remember the chapter of my life when it started to change, and I started to feel that. Having kids helps some people. It's not essential, because you start to think about legacy and whatnot.
Sure.
But what I always really try to inspire people to do with video is to share the story that you just shared, which is that I feel a sense of purpose. I have a skill set. There's a group of people out there that need my help, and I need to go connect those dots so that I can build, be my best self. There's a quote that I'll reference, which is a Confucius quote, which came to mind when I read the name of your chapter.
Sure.
We have 2 lives, and the second begins when we realize we have only one. And what this means to me is that a lot of people have this mentality where I'm going to do it tomorrow, or if I only had X, then I could do Y. Well, I need to get this graduate degree. I need to get something in order to do that. My office is not right. My family, my geography. There's some excuse out there that's holding me back from being the person that I want to be. And the simple realization that you are exactly who you need to be right now, and there's nothing that you need. You just need to make that choice. That is one of my takeaways about what you had said when you mentioned the person you could have been. Because I think about, people with regrets, and they're living this regret. It's almost like they're living this life knowing that in the future they're going to regret the decision that they made or did not make. And I think that you're really trying to inspire us to change that mindset, to just be our best self today, whatever the situation may be.
Dr. Michael Gervais, I just listened to him the other day. I shared it with one of my podcast groups, Ultimate Performance Coach, okay? Works for the Seattle Seahawks, amazing insights. He was talking about this thing. We all know the FOMO, fear of missing out, okay? But he came up with a new acronym called FOPO, fear of other people's opinion, okay? FOPO, fear of other people's opinion. And when I've worked with so many of my authors and other clients of mine, and I say, just get out there and press the live record button on your Facebook. Just go and talk about whatever's messing you up today. Talk about not your failure, but the setback, okay? Failure is only failure if you fail to learn something from it. Tom Hopkins taught me that 30 years ago. So people walk around, oh, I failed. No, you didn't. You just had a setback. Did you learn something from it? Yeah, I learned what not to do. Outstanding. How about teach that to 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people? Why would I want to teach them? I would show them that I messed up. Yeah, but you're real. You're a human being. That's what human beings are about, is we mess up, we rise up, we dust ourselves off, and we figure out, okay, that didn't work. And like Sarah Blakely, her father had her and her brother sitting at the table every Saturday night asking them how they failed that week to change their paradigm that failure is how you gain the most learning. And when you learn and you're constantly improving, that means you can improve other people's lives because you can show them the path not to take and you can show them what you learn from it. Wow. So when you get out there and you risk the rejection that everybody's afraid of, oh, what if someone doesn't like me? What if someone unfriends me? Then they weren't your friend to begin with. When people see authenticity, they see genuineness. I call it zero airbrushing. It's just me. And if I got a shark fin on top of my hair this morning, I'm just telling you what crazy day, people are going to relate to that because they're going to go, yeah, I got shark fin hairstyle too sometime, But the point I'm trying to make here, trying to be light about it, is when you are your authentic self and you are bold enough to love people and love the outcome that you want them to achieve, so that it's not that you don't care about them, you respect them so much and you respect the outcome at such a deep level, then you don't worry about whether they give you a thumbs up or not. Does that make sense?
It makes sense on so many levels, because when there's self-absorption is thinking about what other people think about you when you're doing something. Right. Selflessness is when you're thinking about how you can help other people. Yeah. Whatever it is that we are thinking about when we're doing it is going to project onto the person that's watching our video or consuming our content or having a relationship with us. That's what they're going to feel. That's the energy that they're going to feel. If we're being self-conscious or insecure or filled with fear, they will sense that. Whereas on the other side, if we're thinking about how we can provide value and help someone solve a problem, they will sense that. So it's almost like we get to determine our own fate in life. Yes, what a gift. What a gift.
Yeah.
Project what we want. And when you project selflessness, providing value, being worthy, helping people, being on your purpose, people feel that. And it's what did you say in the beginning? It's the business will come as an avalanche. And guess what? It'll feel good in the process and you'll make a lot of friends.
You attract, and I'll use that word in specifically, you attract the type of clients that you are. And video, that's what video is about, not the edited video version that looks like you're on some type of rock video. Okay, cool. If you want to go watch pop videos or whatever, MTV, I grew up with that in 1985 when they turned it on. But people don't want that anymore. That's why I think so many of these social media platforms do so well, because people are looking for that genuineness, that authenticity. And what Dubb brings to the table is that portal to allow you to communicate to your potential clients, your future clients. And by you being brave enough and courageous enough to share with them how you want to help them, then they will either pick up that vibe and be attracted to you and say, God, this is the right guy I want on my team as my financial coach. Or if your authenticity puts them off, then you know what? I didn't want to work with that person to begin with. That frees up my time, my most valuable asset, to find a different new client that I do want to work with. So I end up, like you said, they're not my clients, they're my family. They're the people that I want to hang out with, that I want to have virtual coffees with, because they're all over the world. And anytime they come through the town that I'm in, where I used to live in Dallas, now I live in Bend, Oregon, but I tell them, don't you dare come to my town without letting me know, because I want to go out and hang out with you one-on-one, right? But why wouldn't you want that relationship to be so deep with all of your clients that they're no longer a two-dimensional client customer, but they are a three-dimensional family member that you want to be part of their lives, and they want you to be part of their lives. Does that make, yeah.
Love it. Now you have an offer on your website, which I noticed, which is like a book download.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an ebook. And is this a good time to mention that?
Sure. I mean, that's really the second book that I just wrote over the last 6 months. After being in the financial environment for 30 years, I'd kind of seen a lot of stuff, seen a lot of things, knew about a lot of things. Don't know everything. Everybody knows that the financial industry is just too broad. So I was actually speaking at a financial conference in Phoenix, and met another very sharp individual. You'll see Jason there in some of the videos right there. And he was a speaker the day after I spoke at this event in Phoenix. And I had to actually, I went up to him afterwards and I said, what is this interest cancellation? I've never heard about this before. Being able to take someone's 30-year mortgage and pay it off in 7 years, man, come on, I'm a numbers guy. That's not possible, man. What are you doing? I said, let me take you to dinner. If we had a conversation, I said, I really want to understand. I'm serious about this. If it could help American homeowners with, especially what's coming with all the stimulus, the rate of inflation that's now jumped not to a 30-year high, but a 40-year high, just a couple of days ago announced. The real estate market's going to blow up. Interest rates are going to skyrocket. This is coming, okay? There's just no way to go around it. It's just economically going to happen. The most important thing that could happen for individuals is to get them lean, get them mean, get them low to the ground. What I mean by that, get them lean, meaning get rid of debt, get them low to the ground, meaning that they're not exposed to these economic winds that are going to be hurricane level, okay? I hope this isn't something like a soup line. I'm not a doomsdayer. I don't think this is going to be a 1929, 1930 something crash, but I'll tell you, I'm concerned, and I'm not because I'm a wizard. I know how to find the smartest guys on YouTube, let's say, and I put them on my YouTube channel so that everything that I'm studying, I make it available for everyone so they can connect all my dots. The individuals that are experts in verticals that are inside of the economic arena, every single one of them are concerned right now. So what I've always wanted to do is to help people, prepare them. And, my father was a Marine, so he's always teaching me these Latin phrases, and not curiam victoriam is a Latin phrase that says victory loves preparation. Okay. If you want to be victorious, you prepare. How do you prepare? You plan, you practice, and you prepare. And then you do it again and again and again and again. And in all of that, the better prepared person doesn't guarantee victory, but unpreparedness guarantees failure. So I am not going to lose the battle, and my clients are not going to lose the battle for preventable reasons. Does that make sense? So I bring them everything that I know. So when I met Jason, we went through all the details. He blew my mind. I actually took a hiatus from Success Publishing. I told Matt, I got to study this. And then I was the director of a national social media marketing company. I resigned 2 weeks later because this had so much impact And the average was $133,000 of savings on a mortgage on every single client, over 1,500 families. So I did my due diligence. My due diligence, as I was putting it together, because I'm a financial guy, I know how to do risk management due diligence. All of a sudden I realized this is the underpinnings of a book. So I just put the meat on the bone. I put all the links in there. I published it as an ebook, not as a hard copy, because I wanted the links to be clickable. I can't do that in a hard copy. And then I just published it online. It's in a PDF, and I just give it away for free, because I want anyone that wants to access it. If you want to do it yourself, 100%. If you want me to be your coach, I can help you as well. And you can click on the link and set up a time with me. There's an appointment link on there. But I wanted it to just help all Americans, anyone that's got a home, anyone that's got debt. This is a absolute bulletproof, riskless pattern that you can use to change your entire financial future and protect you from what I think is coming over the horizon.
Perfect. I just shared the link to that in the comments. So if anyone's interested, they can check that out. Very cool. And then you have a Facebook group that's noteworthy here. Take us through that.
So Better Each Day, as you can kind of see, it follows my entire philosophy. It's who I am. If you wake me up in the middle of the night and say, what's the most important thing? And it is the concept that I learned a long time ago called Kaizen. Kaizen is constant, never-ending improvement. It's about the effect of this continuous improvement every day of becoming better. So I created a group. It starts off, we do an open program every Monday morning at 6:30 here Pacific time zone. And it's an open Zoom. I have a number of my friends, family, and clients from all over the world. And we get together, and that particular event's called Prepping the Objective. And Prepping the Objective is a simple process. We meet, basically lock arms every single week. And the most important element that you can do to increase your performance by 31% based on the research by Sean Achor that wrote The Happiness Advantage at Harvard University is getting together, locking arms with fellow like-minded individuals and demonstrating or focusing on the one thing that you're grateful for. And you do a roundtable. And so a challenge would be is try that from now on when you start a meeting. Start off with something that you're grateful for. Do that in a board meeting and do that in a roundtable. Watch the paradigm shift. How everybody walks in there from, I can't believe we have to do another meeting, to all of a sudden it clicks when people are sharing something they're grateful for that's genuine. It not only boosts your productivity, but it changes the dynamic of the group and it makes it positive. So that increases the probability that you're going to get a better result from all of you coming together. And that's what we do on the Better Each Day program.
Very cool. All right. So link Better Each Day Facebook group in the comments. Awesome resource. Where can people connect with you on social? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're at. Give us some social handles.
Okay, LinkedIn is just Steve Moreland, and Facebook, Steve Moreland. I'm in Bend, Oregon. So if you're trying to look for, a geographic location or something like that to find me, if you look up Rubicon Performs, that's my Facebook page. That obviously you can find me from there. I've had a personal performance company that I've shared called Rubicon for the last, let's say I produced that training manual and the guide called The Compass, helping people navigate their life better. It's not anything new because I don't think there's anything new under the sun, but it's my amalgamation of 30 years of study of psychology, performance philosophy, ancient military history, the samurai, the Greek Spartans, and putting all that together. There's one of my favorite quotes from Socrates, that be as you wish to seem. That was the message that Aristotle took to young Alexander the Great when he was 13 years old. And he taught him that concept that Socrates had handed down through Plato into him. And that's the most important thing that he taught young Alexander as a prince. And as everyone knows, he became one of the most remarkable people in the history of our world. Be as you wish to seem is not about a fake it till you make it. It is the concept of rehearsing and practicing to be that version of yourself that you aspire to become. That's what the whole program is about.
Be true and break through. Awesome, Steve. Well, thank you so much. I'll kind of leave you with the final question. Since you've been such an advocate of Dubb and such a great evangelist to us, which for which we're so grateful. What would you say to people that are considering using Dubb, and what sort of results have you gotten out of it? Love to get your take on that.
Whatever level of performance your company is at right now, there's something inside of you that knows there's more, but you don't know how to figure out how to maneuver through the maze. Everybody's coming at you with go after funnels or this traffic or do something different in a headline and all of these other things that do not actually produce bottom line performance, which is how do you connect? How do you build a relationship with someone that is a stranger and turn them into someone that's a family member? You can't do it with text. Come on, it's just not going to happen. You can't do it with direct mail. You can't do it with billboard ads. Those are ancient. It's video. We all know it's videos. We've seen the statistics. We've seen the studies. The question is how can you use video? And it's not about going into a studio and doing a green screen behind you and all that. You don't have time for that. And it's extremely costly to do that, because I know I do have some friends that have those, and I've been in those studios, and then you got to go through production and editing, and then you end up with this version that's clipped and edited, and it doesn't feel real. And real is what and how you are going to connect with sharing that real personal spark of your soul with another human being. And when they feel you real, when they feel you on video, and when you become so purposed to help other people that it's the same thing as you not having a breath, and you feel that desire that deeply, then the only answer is you have to learn how to use Dubb. You just have to. It's so simple. You're not going to be a rock star from the beginning, because literally the Dubb system has so much capability. It's going to take you time. If you're very advanced, you're going to be comfortable here. If you're a beginner, you're also going to be equally comfortable, because just learning how to press the record button and create a few links underneath you gives you the ability to share that with anyone across any platform, across any medium. And when they click it, you can have everything from your calendar link to connection to your bio, to connection to your website, connection to testimonials, hugely valuable. And all of those allow, the Dubb platforms allows you to create each of those things in a personalized way, so that when you're connecting with an individual, it's not generic. You're talking to them with their name and giving specific content about what you're expecting to talk to them about, or what you just had a meeting about and you want to share with them something in such a personal one-to-one basis. Hey, this COVID thing has taken away the ability for us to sit there at Starbucks like we used to and have these meetings. The thing that's going to allow you to move to the next level is a personal relationship through Dubb, without having to worry about commuting halfway across the Metroplex like I did in Dallas, and then find out someone got stuck in traffic or held up and the meeting was lost, and you lose so much time every day. So this is the video interface, the portal that's going to allow you to touch another human being and be real with them, and at the same time scale, so that you're able to have the higher quality level connections at quantity.
Tremendous, Steve. Listen, we are so grateful for you. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the information. We're constantly looking to evolve our platform and our business and our overall experience, and we love to make it as positive as possible. So thanks again, Steve. Appreciate you. Encourage people to connect with Steve Moreland from Bend, Oregon on social channels, LinkedIn, and all the rest. Thanks again, Steve.
Hey, buddy, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the time hanging out with you. And like I said, one of these days, I'm going to make it down to LA, and I'm going to buy dinner for everyone. I'm
ready for you. I'm ready for you. If you want to buy dinner for everyone, we're going to have to go to 6 different time zones, because we are. So get ready for a around the world tour.
Okay. Sounds good, brother.
Stick around for some production notes, and chat soon.